Three, two, one. Hello again. Welcome back to another episode of MUN in Minutes Crisis. As always, I'm Lucas, and today we will be taking a closer look at the front room techniques in a crisis committee. If you haven't seen our previous episode about crisis committees, you may want to check that out. Otherwise, let's get right into it. The front room of a crisis committee is where all the debate, discussion, and collaboration happens. This is where you, as a delegate, will be spending your time during committee sessions. Front room doesn't just refer to the physical room either. I know that may be a little confusing, but front room can refer to all the processes and activities that go on in the room as well. For example, if someone asks, "How's your front room?" they're not asking if you like how the tables or desks are arranged or if the temperature is comfortable. They're asking if the chair and vice chair are running things well and how your performance has been so far. That being said, it is important to understand just what you will be doing in a front room during the conference. Like General Assemblies, front room will consist of speaking through proposing motions for a moderated caucus. However, unlike GAs, there is not a speakers list to default to if a motion doesn't pass. This means that committees may start with a round-robin motion in which every delegate in the room must give a speech. Because crisis committees usually do not have topics, there is also no need to set the agenda. For the most part, speeches are used to talk about solutions to the most recent crisis update. That being said, front room is where you will be writing directives to solve the crises. Writing a directive can seem daunting at first, but it is really not that difficult. First, you need an idea. Then, you break down your idea into chunks, which you can use to write clauses. When you are satisfied with the clauses you have, write yourself down as a sponsor and include a space for interested signatories. All you have left to do is think of a snappy title, then you can start looking for co-sponsors and signatories. For example, say the crisis update says that funds are slowly disappearing. One idea to solve this is to set up a vault with security guards. Because the vault is the main idea, you will write a number 1 on the right margin of your paper, then construct a vault to hold committee funds next to it as your first clause. Then you can write a letter A indented underneath and discuss how you will build the vault. And subclause B for hiring guards. It is always a good idea to start passing around your directive so people can add onto it as soon as you are finished writing. Then, in your next speech, you can talk about the ideas you just wrote down and invite others to contribute to your directive. Remember, it is rude to talk while other people are giving their speeches. To help get a block of delegates together to meet during an unmoderated caucus, write them a note on a scrap piece of paper. This will be your main line of communication while others are giving a formal debate, and it is a great way to probe for ideas for a strong directive. After a bit of debate, delegates will be ready to work together to merge and refine their directives, so someone may call for a motion for an unmoderated caucus. When an unmoderated caucus motion passes, delegates will stand up and move freely around the room. Generally, it is a good idea to try and merge your directives with someone who shares similar ideas with you. Make sure that there are no big contradictions or serious redundancies in your merged directive, and if there are, agree upon a way to edit them out. Sometimes it takes a few unmods before the directives are ready to be submitted to the dais or the chair. It is important to note if there is a directive limit, and if there is, then you should get the directive in as early as possible. Once they are all submitted, there will be motions to present the directives. Each motion to present also comes with for and against speeches for each paper. These motions will vary in the order in which the papers are presented, how many for and against speeches there are, and how long the speeches will be. Usually, there will be 2 for and 2 against speeches, about 30 or 45 seconds long. Once these speeches have concluded, there may be an amendment period, where clauses can be struck or fresh clauses can be submitted to the dais to be either adopted by sponsors' consensus if they are friendly, or voted on by the committee if they are unfriendly. Finally, it is time to motion to vote on the final directives as amended. Remember, if you indicated during attendance that you are present and voting, you cannot abstain from this vote. Once the directives are passed, backroom staffers will process them. The results of all past directives, as well as the results of issues of failed directive addresses in some cases, will be read out to the committee in the next crisis update. The crisis staffers will come in to exchange crisis notes, deliver the update, and take a few questions. After that, get ready to write out clauses and give speeches because the whole process starts all over again. Now that you are familiar with how front room works, hopefully you are able to navigate the chaotic room full of emotional speeches and the scratching of pen on paper. Next episode, we will be looking at how to make an impact in committee with a strong backroom. Thanks for watching, and until next time.